What's up, fight fans? I'm the Van Damme Street Fighter movie and mixed martial arts, Tommy Toehold. And holy shit, is UFC 185 stacked like some overdue library books. Showtime's taking on Dos Anjos, Carla Esparza, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk. That's right, 2 fucking title fights. Oh yeah, and Matt Brown versus fucking Johnny Hendricks. Fight fans, there's like 17 other awesome fights on this card. But you know what's even more awesome than all these fucking fights? $1,200, which is exactly how much money you're gonna win if you manage to pull a victory off in my $12,000 UFC 185 tourney. That's right, first prize gets $1,200, the top 86 payout. 25 gets you in, but if that's too rich for your blood, we've got smaller games, we've got free games, we got all the games you could possibly want. Games, Tommy, what the fuck are you talking about? I am talking about fantasy MMA at Countermove.com. You don't know how to play? Don't worry, it's simple. The first step is to select a game. There are free games, small games, and big games for all major MMA events. Next, you're gonna pick a team of 5 fighters. Each game is played over the course of a single fight card, and you have $25,000 for $10 to draft a team of 5 fighters. Once you pick your team, you're ready for the last step. Score points and win. Once the fights begin, you get points based on how your fighters perform. Points are awarded for strikes landed, submissions attempted, knockdowns, dominant positions, rounds won, and knockout or submission bonuses. The team with the most points at the end of the night wins the tournament. How fucking easy is that? All right, now that you know how to play, how about I give you a leg up on the competition and we'll go over every single fight on the whole card. That's right. Let's do this shit! All right, first up, we got Jermaine Durandamy taking on Larissa Pacheco. 3 of Jermaine's 4 wins are a decision. She does have a victory over Julie Kedzie. She was TKO'd in the first round of her last fight. Pacheco has a 100% finish rate. She lost her UFC debut via first round sub against a very tough opponent, but she has 6 first-round finishes. Remember, fight fans, in Countermove, we want finishes and we want them fast. So if you're picking on this one, I do think it'll be a tough fight, but with 6 first-round finishes, it's hard to go against Pacheco. Larissa is my first pick. All right, next up, we've got Jake Lindsay taking on Joseph Duffy. Lindsay has had 2 UFC fights. He was stopped in both. 5 of his 7 finishes have been in the first round. He probably needs this win to stay in the UFC. Duffy is known as the last guy to beat Conor McGregor, but this was a long time ago, 2010. He has a very high finish rate and a whole bunch of submission wins, 8. Normally, I would say Duffy on this one, but holy shit, at 5,300, for a guy who's making his UFC debut, that is way too much. Lindsay's got some experience, he's got a very high finish rate, and he finishes in the first round. I think he's a steal, I think he wins the fight. I'm going with Jake Lindsay. Next up, we've got Sergio Pettis taking on Ryan Benoit. Sergio is the younger brother of Anthony by about 7 years. He does not have anywhere near as much experience. His only loss is to Bruce Leroy via sub, but all 3 of his UFC wins have come via decision. Benoit has a 100% finish rate in 7 fights. He did lose his UFC debut via sub, but the dude is rocking 5 first-round finishes. I am not 100% sold on Sergio Pettis, especially as a Countermove guy. He's been getting a bunch of decisions, and at 5,300, that is just way too much of a risk. If you're putting one of these 2 guys on your team, I'm going with Benoit. When he wins, he finishes. All right, next up, we've got Jared Rocheholt taking on Josh Copeland. The battle of the big guys. All 3 of Rocheholt's UFC wins have come via decision. He did lose his last fight via first-round KO. He has more high-level experience than his opponent. Copeland lost his UFC debut via decision. He does have 7 first-round stops, however, but not a bunch of high-level experience, so it's hard to say how that'll translate into the octagon. Personally, I'm going to avoid this one. I think Rocheholt takes it. He's got a strong wrestling background, and I feel like he's going to get a decision here. Next up, we've got Darren Cruikshank taking on Beneil Dariush. Cruikshank is a ninja. I don't know what else to say about that. The dude has kicks I've never seen in my life. Very deadly. Can stop the fight at any moment. He has a bunch of UFC experience, but only 1 first-round finish in the UFC. Dariush has 3 wins in the UFC with 2 stops. He was KO'd by Ramsey Nijem in the first round. He's got 4 first-round stops in his career. It is hard to go against Cruikshank in this one. He's got a whole bunch of experience. He's fought a lot of high-level dudes. He needs this win. If you can afford him, I think he'd be a good guy to put on your team. Next up, we've got Elias Theodore taking on Roger Narvaez. Theodore is the Tough Nations winner. He's the guy everybody loves to hate. Unbeaten in 10 fights. His last UFC win was via decision. He's got a 60% finish rate. Narvaez is a real tough dude. He was TKO'd by Pat Cummins in his UFC debut, but he did defeat Luke Barnett via split decision. 4 of his 7 wins come in the first round, but not a whole bunch of high-level experience yet. Theodore has looked really good in the octagon. It's hard to go against him here, but I'm not sure we see a finish in this fight, and at 5,500, I'm going to go ahead and avoid this one on my Countermove team. Next up, we've got Ross Pearson and Sam Stout, couple of crafty vets. Pearson's got a whole bunch of high-level experience. His last 3 wins have come via TKO, and he is 2-1 in his last 3 UFC fights fights. Stout has fought everybody ever. He's been in the UFC forever. He's got 8 decision wins in the UFC, and he has not gonna stop since 2011. I think Pearson takes this one, but Sam Stout is hard to put away. I think this one could go long. If you gotta pick on this one, do it. But otherwise, I would pick a surer finish. All right, next up, we've got Chris Carasso taking on Henry Cejudo. Carasso has fought a whole bunch of high-level guys, including the champion. He's got 12 decisions in 17 wins and only 1 stop in the UFC. Hell of a fighter, but a lot of decisions. Cejudo's unbeaten with about a 50-50 finish rate. He is an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. While he's unbeaten, he has very little high-level experience, and his last 3 wins came via decision. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on Cejudo yet. This is his biggest test. Carasso is no joke. I do think this fight goes to a decision, and if I had to lean one way or the other, I'm going with the UFC vet. I think Carasso takes it. All right, next up, we got the big boys. Roy Nelson taking on Alistair Overeem. What is there to say about this fight? Somebody is getting knocked the fuck out. Big Country has 18 finishes and 21 wins. The Reem has 35 finishes and 38 wins. Big Country is very hard to put away. The dude is made of granite. He has lost 3 of his last 4, however. The Reem has also struggled as of late. He's been KO'd 3 times since 2013. He did, however, win his last fight against Struve in impressive fashion, a first-round KO. Look, this is a very hard fight to pick on. I do think Alistair Overeem is very dangerous, but he has been susceptible to knockout lately, and sans Mark Hunt, who has knockout power that is just freakish, Roy Nelson is very hard to stop. The likelihood of a finish in this fight is so high, and if I'm gonna have to pick one of the 2 guys that's gonna get stopped, I'd have to say it's gonna be the Reem. I'm going with Big Country on this one, and at 4,700, the price is definitely right. All right, next up, we've got Johnny Hendricks and Matt Brown. Holy shit. If this is not fight of the fucking decade, I don't know what is. Johnny Hendricks has massive KO power. However, 3 of his last 4 wins have been decisions, and he has never been stopped before. Matt Brown has 12 KO wins. He took Robbie Lawler to a hard decision. It was a great fight, but he has had 9 submission losses in his career. However, I do not foresee that being a problem against Johnny Hendricks. I think this fight stays on their feet. I think these guys beat the holy shit out of each other, and I also think it's way too close to call. This fight goes to a decision. If you ask me 10 times, I'll give you a different winner each time. I think it could be a high-scoring affair either way, but I'm going to avoid it because I think it goes all 3 rounds. All right, on to the title fights. We've got Carla Esparza taking on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Carla's the tough 20 winner. She's a strawweight champ. She has 3 finishes in her last 5 fights. She has a decently high finish rate for the division and some very high-level wrestling. Jędrzejczyk is no fucking joke. Unbeaten fighter. She knocked out Rosie Sexton. I say this every time I talk about her. If you've ever seen Rosie Sexton fight, she has the chin of Big Country mixed with the pain tolerance of Mick Foley. To stop that woman is fucking incredible. Jędrzejczyk is dangerous. She can definitely stop a fight on a dime. However, 4 of her last 5 have been decisions. I think this is a pretty good fight to pick on, honestly. You might get an early stop by Jędrzejczyk, but it's very hard to pick against Carla Esparza. Her wrestling is very strong. She's gonna be looking for finishes. At 4,900, she's definitely a solid pick. I think with either woman, you need to pick on this fight because I do think there will be a stop, but I'm going with the champ. I think Carla Esparza takes it. And finally, we've got the main event of the evening. Anthony Showtime Pettis defends his belt against Rafael Dos Anjos. What is there to say about Anthony Pettis? The dude has never been stopped. He has 15 finishes in 18 wins. He won his last 4 fights via stop, 3 of which were in the first round. The other was in the second. He makes dudes look basic. Dos Anjos is tough as fuck. He's been fighting in the UFC since 2008. He stopped Ben Henderson with a first-round KO, if that tells you anything about his power, and he has impressive decision wins over Diaz and Cerrone. Look, Anthony Pettis is $5,800, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know I usually stay away from the main event. It's usually a hard pick, but Anthony Showtime Pettis is the real fucking deal. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care how you have to arrange it. You need to get Anthony Pettis on your Countermove team. I think he wins. I think he wins early. I think he wins big. Now at 5,800, he's gonna eat up a whole bunch of cash, but there's some pretty solid underdogs on this card, and I think he can make it work. All right, now that you know everything there is to know about every fighter, it's time to make your picks. You can go with whoever the fuck you want to go with, but I'm taking Larissa Pacheco, Big Country Roy Nelson, Jake Lindsay, Carla Esparza, and Anthony Pettis. Once you've picked your team, hit the play now button, invite some friends, and from now to fight night, you can switch your team up as much as you want. If you wake up in the middle of the night and go, holy shit, Tommy Tohold is fucking stupid, you can change your team. It's no big deal. Just make sure you've got the squad that you want by the time the fights start. Fight fans, you know you're gonna watch UFC 185. They have stacked this card. Holy fucking shit. Why not make that experience all the more fun? Get in my tournament. The winner's getting $1,200. The top 86 spots pay out. Surely you're the 86th best picker in a Countermove game, right? Get in my game, get in a smaller game, get in a free game. Get in every fucking game you can. It is so much fun, fight fans. I don't know how many times I can tell you this, but try it once, and I promise you, you will never go another fight card without playing Fantasy MMA at Countermove.com. For everybody Triple THS, I'm Tommy Toehold. I will see you on the leaderboards. I'll also see you on Twitter, where you will most definitely talk shit if you somehow beat me.